Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be listing a few different items for sale. And this is what I do off and on just to make some extra money. You know, you could use the money to put in your savings or save up for a vacation or Christmas shopping or whatever it is that you want your extra money for. And extra money's good. Most of us can use it for something productive and good. So anyways, I'm not on Facebook anymore. So I can't list on Marketplace. But if you're on Facebook, I highly recommend putting it on Marketplace. I only had really good experiences being a seller and being a buyer. You just, you make sure everybody's safe, you and your buyer, when you do, an exchange or a pickup, like you would for anything else. I pretty much gave up a few years ago selling on Craigslist. It's not worth the hassle. I mean, there are some shady people there, but I have found that just a lot of buyers back out at the last minute. So it's not anything I would recommend. But I do sell on the Neighborhood app. And that's what I'm going to be doing today. Well, the Nextdoor app, that's what it's called. But for whatever reason, to me, it's the Neighborhood app. But there's one other place I'm looking into, and we'll talk about that a little later. So let's just get started with the kind of things I sell. And I'll sell stuff, that I maybe own. But I primarily will go to thrift stores, yard sales, estate sales, and see what I can find there. And I stick with usually what I know. So I'm probably not gonna go to, say, an estate sale and go through the garage looking for tools, because I'm just not knowledgeable on that, and I'd have to look it up, and it's just not something good for me to sell. And so I recommend, for you, if you were looking at selling something that you're really familiar with or that you yourself like, because then you can describe it really well. You really know the product, basically, and its worth. So let's get started. This is a brand new Kindle in the box. I've had this Kindle since 2017 and never opened it. And I'm sure you're wondering, well, why? Why would you buy a Kindle? And, well, let me tell you, there's a little story behind this. So my kids got me a Kindle for Christmas in 2010, and I've loved it, loved it, loved it. But then in 2017, it froze up, and I couldn't get it to unfreeze. And I was freaking out because I was right in the middle of a book. And I'm like, oh, goodness. So I went on Amazon, and I didn't want anything fancy. I just wanted, to read a book. I didn't care about, going on the internet or any of that other stuff. So this was the most basic one I could get, even though it does have internet and it's 4G and all of that. Well, to my surprise, when I went to purchase it, they gave me like $20-some off. And I was, wow, that's nice, that's cool. But then, as I checked out, I saw that one of my credit cards had all these points on it that I could use for this. I only ended up spending 37 cents to buy this. Can you believe that? 37 cents. And it came in 2 days. But by then I figured out how to get my other Kindle working. And it's been working ever since, so I've never opened this. And I'm not going to get rid of my backup, but my birthday was just last week, and the kids got me a brand new, bigger, fancier kind of Kindle. So I don't need this anymore. So I'm going to sell this. I'm not going to sell it for a lot because it's not the newest, edition thing or whatever. But I know there's a lot of people out there that could use something like this and maybe can't afford a brand new one or whatever. So that's something I'm going to sell, and this is something I know. Next on the list is this combination of things. So sometimes you can sell stuff as lots, and that's what I plan on doing with this. These are all old cookbooks, older. This is the Fanny Farmer one. This was from 1955. So that's a good cookbook to have. This is a really sought after cookbook. This is the Betty Crocker Picture Cookbook, and it's the binder kind. And so, I don't know why this is so sought after, maybe because it's Betty Crocker, but I feel like the 50s were not a good decade for food. They made a lot of those weird Jell-O concoctions, but hey, no judgment. People want it, they can have it. And then this is a combination, is a set obviously, of cookbooks from, but this is from 1964. You got vegetables, casserole, salads, meats, and desserts. How much you want to bet salads has some of that Jell-O stuff in there? And then just this little, I love this. I think this is so cute. And I do like a lot of older recipes. But I've had this for quite some time now. So this is a cookbook that came with crock pots back in the 70s. There isn't an actual date in here anywhere, but based on, well, I used to sell books, so of course I look for dates all the time. But printed in the USA, you look at the style of the crock pots, there's no UPC symbol, stuff like that, so it's pretty much from the 70s. So I'm going to add that in. This, the really nice cookbook, I got that for $1 at a church rummage sale. It was awesome. So a lot of times people really price their books cheap at yard sales and estate sales and stuff. I don't know if they figure no one wants them or what, but this is going to be sold as a lot. I don't want to piece this out, so one price gets you everything. Then I have binoculars. And believe me, I'm not an expert in binoculars. But I've had these for a while, and when I got them, they were used. Somebody's at the door. But I really don't need them anymore. And to buy binoculars new can be very pricey. So these still work fine. These are great. So if you wanted to something because you're a bird watcher, or you're going out on a hike with the kids and you want to bring something like this along, this would be great. I mean, you can use these basically for anything you want to see closer. And so I'm going to sell these probably for like 25 bucks. That seems to be the going rate in my area, and that's a big thing before you start selling stuff. Don't just start selling what you think something's worth, because I feel a lot of times we will, especially if it's our own personal items, we'll price them too high. And you need to look around at sites where this stuff is being sold and see what the going rates are for things, because you don't want to be the high guy unless you have a really superior product. Like if you did have, say, a set of binoculars and they were newer than these, and they had some kind of special features that the other ones didn't have, well then yeah, of course you should price that up because it is worth more. But overall, you know, you don't want to be really out of the ballpark because you're just not going to get very many takers. And that's not why you're selling. You want to make the money, not lose any of it. So this is another thing that's mine. These canisters. Now, if you watched any of my older videos, I'm sure you've seen these in my kitchen. And I bought these used off of eBay, goodness, probably 14, 15 years ago. And these are from the 40s or 50s, maybe the 50s. It's spun aluminum. And they're not in perfect condition because they've been used since the 50s. But they're still a sought after item. Anybody that likes vintage, kitschy kind of stuff, you know, they all have their lids, and we go from, what is this one, flour? So you got flour, sugar, coffee, tea. I think originally the set also came with a grease canister, but I didn't have that. So I'm going to sell these because I really don't need them anymore. I don't use canisters like I used to. And so why just hang on to them? Let somebody else enjoy them, you know, price them reasonably, and you got some stash money. Now this is interesting. And if it doesn't sell, then I'm keeping it. But I went to Goodwill looking for a frame for this print up I made. And I liked the frame that this was in. And this just looked like an old picture to me. I didn't pay attention until I went to take it out from the frame. And I was looking at it, and it's actually a really nice, like, harbor scene, but not really. It's like, you know, there's a double-masted boat there and little cottages in the woods, so, you know, it would be just a nice marine kind of scene, I think, of a small town or something. So as I'm looking at it, I noticed there was a actual signature on it. And I'm like, oh wow, is this an original artist thing? And it is. And I looked up the name, and the guy was from Detroit. And he did a lot of these in the 1920s and thereafter. So I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. Well, a lot of his works sell for about $150. Well, I know my fellow Wisconsinites are not going to pay that. But, you know, I'll price it way low and see what I get, you know, and if someone doesn't see the value in it, then I'm just going to keep it, and I'm going to put it in a new frame because I actually really do like it. It's very interesting. The problem with me not wanting to keep it, though, is I worry that someday, you know, I'll keel over and die, and my kids will think it's nothing and throw it in the garbage or something. I don't want them to do that either. Okay, here's another thing. I love this clock. Now, if I love it, why am I selling it? Well, because it just really does not go in this apartment at all. And I had this at the cabin, and it was like, oh, at first I was going to give it to my sister, but she didn't have room for it. And I'm like, you know, somebody would really like this a lot. And I don't remember where I got it from. I know I ordered it online specifically for the cabin. So I think it deserves a new life in a different house, and I'm gonna put it out there and see what other people think. Okay, so lastly, we've got clothes. Now, in the days of my eBay, I did not like selling clothes. It was very difficult because will it fit people or not? You know, so I had to always take very precise measurements, and to me it's just really not worth it for a pair of Levi's. But things have changed a little bit. So I bought this actually for myself. It's a nice jacket. And let me zip it up real quick here and show you. It's a thin quilted jacket. This is gray, and I just love the way that it looks. But it's from Laura Ashley. And I'm like, ooh, Laura Ashley, that's a really good brand. So when I got it home, I looked it up. And Laura Ashley had jackets like this on their website. Not this color, but the same. And their retail for this jacket is $250. Well, imagine that. No way would I ever pay $250 for a jacket. No, even a heavy-duty winter jacket. I'm not paying that. I just wouldn't. And so I'm like, you know, maybe I'll try to sell it. If it doesn't sell, then I will keep it. Lord knows I'm not going to charge anything even remotely close to $250. And in fact, I think I'll probably sell this at $50. And if somebody wants to, you know, break it down a little bit more, I'll probably go along with that. But I only spent $7, so it's definitely going to be a good bargain. I mean, a good sale for me. Here's another unique item, at least unique in my eyes. I like this. See, can you see this? Now this is a wool blend, and this is some kind of paint something or another. So what you would wear this like you would a sweater vest. So I'd probably put like a turtleneck under here or something. It's got these straight sleeves here, and it has pockets, and the pockets actually have felt in them. It's really nice. So this is made by a company called Susu, and they're from Japan. And it's made in Japan. And in fact, the label says, Japanese Pop Textile Design, collection by Susu, hand printed in Kyoto. I think this is so unique and so cool. There's going to be someone out there that wants something like that. And again, I didn't spend a lot of money for this. I tried looking it up on their website, and they do sell this stuff. But they didn't have the wool blend because it's a warmer time of the year. I saw one used being sold somewhere. I can't even remember where. Maybe Poshmark. And they wanted $85 for it. Well, I'm going to sell a lot less than that. But for anyone who's, you know, into this kind of stuff, this would be a great find. And then lastly, I have this Norwegian sweater. It is so cool. Oh, it's great design. Look at this. You know, these are the kind of sweaters we all like to wear during those cold winter months. I like this because it's cotton instead of wool. Most of them are wool. That's way too itchy for me. I can't do it. But I can't use this sweater because it says it's a large. This thing, I'm swimming in it. Absolutely swimming. So I believe this is probably a unisex sweater, and the large is probably more for men. But anyhow, I can't even pronounce the name of this, like Savland maybe, of Norway. So it was made in Norway. And so I looked this up, and I believe this company is not doing business anymore, because I could only find used and vintage items from them. But they sell for a really good price, and because they are really well made. I mean, this is a great sweater. you know, and with it being cotton, you could wear it as is, or you could put something underneath it. With the wool, I feel like you're obligated to put something underneath it because there's just very few people that can wear wool with without reacting to it. But anyhow, my point with these clothes is I'm not buying just you know, something from Sears. So I try to look for unique items that are harder to get or more expensive when they're brand new. I like looking, like a more common brand I would look for too would be LL Bean, because they make really good products. They're a higher quality, but with that comes the higher price. So I actually am selling an LL Bean sweater that I paid over $100 for a long time ago. And normally I wouldn't do that, but Paul talked me into it. Yeah, Paul was the one who always liked to spend the money. But anyhow, normally I would look for that stuff even for myself at sales and thrift stores, because to me it's almost like buying a new car versus a used car. When you buy that new car, as soon as you drive it off the lot, it's just depreciated by like 10 grand. And I'd rather buy the one that's considered used, that has 30,000 miles on it, and pay a lot less, but it still looks and runs great. Well, that's how I kind of feel about these better name brands and stuff. People who tend to spend the money full retail, they'll take care of that item because they know how much they paid for it, and it's a quality item, so it'll last. Well, when they donate it, I'm one of those people there to go and scoop it up. I'm not going to thrift stores to buy a Walmart shirt. So anyhow, that's what I'm listing today, and these are the types of things I tend to look for and I tend to sell, and they usually go pretty well. Now, if you do this, let me know. Let us all know, what kind of items do you sell? What works for you? Like, what region or city are you in? You know, and what's a big seller there? What have you had good luck with? So anyhow, thanks guys for watching the video. Thumbs up if you liked it. That would be awesome of you. And, you know, it was nice talking to you. And you take care.